do more, get more.
All right, thanks so much, Isaiah. Now we're going to go to the NWS because the last 24 hours or so been kind of dicey. And that's putting it lightly because Landon Aydlett and his team over there working hard to make sure that everybody on Guam knows what is up with the weather. Landon, we were spared because what is now a tropical storm really picking up steam as it heads west-northwest of us. But what can you tell us about the events of last night and what you expect to see maybe in the next 12 hours?
Yeah, definitely the storm behaved very much as we were forecasting and explaining to folks over the last 36 hours that we're looking at a baseline minimal tropical storm as it passed through the islands. And it did exactly that. So thankfully, we were very lucky. My concern waking up yesterday morning, seeing that burst of convection near that low-level circulation center as a depression, was that it was going to start intensifying more rapidly. And that's always a concern for us, especially for something approaching the islands. Luckily, there were some mitigating factors in that ultimate development as it approached and then passed over southern Guam, just south of Mauricio, I believe, around 4 p.m. yesterday afternoon. We were very lucky as an island because the stronger conditions were felt all to the north of that developing tropical storm. So we were talking about a very asymmetric system in our heavy weather briefs yesterday, and that's indeed what happened. We had a much better weather scenario for Guam most of the afternoon yesterday with peaks of sunshine throughout the day. But farther north, they had a lot of rain, thunderstorms, gusty winds. They did exceed tropical storm force conditions across Saipan, especially the upper elevations, Wireless Ridge. They did get a wind report, gusts maximizing at 55 miles per hour and a sustained wind, I think, of 43 miles per hour. So tropical storm force winds are 39 miles per hour and greater sustained with higher gusts. For us on Guam, we did have a max wind, I believe it was at 46 mile per hour peak winds at Anderson Air Force Base, and to a lesser extent here at WFO Guam and Barrigada. So let me turn my camera around, show you what we're looking at. That weather did indeed fill in over Guam beginning right around 4 o'clock, and that was that center made its closest point of approach around 4 o'clock. We saw the wind, the rain bands start whipping up around the southeast and eastern side of that low-level circulation. And that's what came up over Guam around 4 p.m. And then it got heavier and heavier through the evening. Mm-hmm. So we had some locally torrential heavy rainfall for short periods of time across central Guam and other parts. I was driving out there from Kings and Harmon after dinner at 7 o'clock, and it was coming down in sheets, blowing pretty hard. That continued through much of the evening hours, off and on through the night. And so we're having some lingering showers with these rain bands still overhead. So we did drop the tropical storm warning at 8 o'clock this morning. We were debating ending that at 5 o'clock, but we wanted to ensure that these rain bands did get sufficiently offshore and move to the west with the stronger winds. And so we were looking at the available analysis and data coming in. Once we were confident that those stronger tropical storm force winds have pushed outside of our coastal waters, which extend 40 miles to the west of the island, that's when we canceled the warning at 8 o'clock. So that does not mean it's over for us. We're going to see the gusty south winds coming up on the far eastern periphery of this tropical storm as it moves away. That's still going to keep the showers and thunderstorms coming up over Guam and the CNMI through this morning, probably starting to taper this afternoon, but we still have a flash flood watch in effect for the islands through 1 o'clock this afternoon. The other hazard, we have a hazardous surf advisory for surf upwards of 9 feet along east-facing reefs and south-facing reefs. We'll probably get a little bit of surf spread over to the west-facing reefs, but I don't think it's going to reach hazardous levels over there because the data just does not support that. This is the polar orbiting satellite showing those winds at the surface. Much stronger winds again to the north. That's the center. This was about midnight early this morning. The center, west of Guam right there to the west. Those stronger winds all in the northern semicircle. Mm-hmm. Much weaker winds to the south and over that center. That's where we were yesterday. This is where we were overnight with those stronger winds pumping up from the south. So we're going to be kind of in a monsoonal type flow today and through tonight, gradually tapering as all of this moves westward. So things will be gradually clearing out, but expect the showers, the clouds, isolated thunderstorms, and gusty winds to persist through today. Mm-hmm. The seas will remain up there. So we are right at peak sea conditions.
Wow.
And we might see another peak right there as the winds pump up with a rain band. And then things will quickly subside as we go into Saturday, as well as surf. So seas remain hazardous for combined seas of around 10 feet plus the strong winds over the waters. And then they will quickly subside as the thing moves farther away.
And that's the one thing that I've really come to appreciate, the way you guys break down weather information is even though, we are out of harm's way as far as any immediate threat, now we got to deal with the back end of this thing. And as your charts were showing, it's a very odd looking storm. We're used to seeing like these really kind of like tight spirals and everything like that, but we got like all this fringe stuff, like as you said, that we're going to have to deal with over the next day or so.
Yeah, meteorologically, we like a very symmetric storm, like a typhoon, something that's well formed.
Yeah, it's kind of like alphabet soup.
Yeah, that's certainly a bad thing for the public, for impacts and expectations. But for meteorological standards and forecasting, it's much easier to forecast and predict a well-developed typhoon where its track is more consistent, steady, solid, and the impacts are more evenly felt. This one's been a very lopsided, asymmetric system, and that's what we were really discussing in the head weather briefs really since Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. Today's Friday. My days are running together right now, but this has just been one of those developmental systems where they're lopsided. It's really not well organized. And of course, that was to our ultimate benefit that we did have the few and minimal impacts that we did as an island, both Guam and the CNMI. So we were fortunate on that one, and we avoided yet another worst system. We've seen the worst that nature can provide, and so we're fortunate. We do have a lot of typhoon season left ahead of us. We're just now at the end of September, so we still have October and November to go through. So don't turn your back to nature yet.
Oh boy, yeah. Well, at least for the current moment, we do want to, let you get some very well-deserved shut-eye, or at least a cat nap, because I know you got some work ahead of you. But you are part of the discussions, in concert with the military and the governor, or at least you're privy to them about, if we are going to change condition of readiness. We're currently in Core 3. Have you any indication of when we will go back to Core 4?
That's going to be up to the Homeland Security and the governor's office, and that will probably come in the coming hours if they have not already changed yet.
Okay, gotcha. All right, hey, thanks for the hustle, man. We really appreciate it. And final question: what is the preferred snack of choice for meteorologists when you guys are pulling all-nighters in these things?
Coffee.
Good choice.
I don't know if there's anything else.
Well, you certainly earned your paycheck, man. We as a community are really appreciative of you guys grinding over there.
Recall back to September 2018 when we were working Typhoon Mangkhut coming through the islands. That was my first storm that I had to work while Chip Guard was off island in Chuuk on work. I worked 72 hours in 4 days over that weekend. That was my weekend off. And I ate very little over those 4 days. It was all work. And I would get coffee between my office and Homeland Security office. Back in those old days, we were in person. And I lost 15 pounds in 4 days.
Nice.
I'm trying not to do that this time.
Well, when you've got a job that you really love doing, it's never like work at all and everything. So again,
yeah,
great job. Have a good nap, man. You've certainly earned it.
Thank you. And thank you all for the help in communicating.
Absolutely.
See y'all one Monday.
All right. Thank you much.
All right. Thank you, Landon. Jason, thank you. Back to Sabrina Salas Matanani with our newscast. Good morning, Sabrina.
Actually, we're going to head